Hello and welcome to Arnie's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Phantom Coach of Yafford. Holly Arnold had never intended to become entangled with the dead. A woman in her late 20s, she had fled the clamour of London for the quiet embrace of the Isle of Wight, craving solitude and the solace of history. Her new home, a crooked cottage near Yafford, its stone walls cloaked in ivy and its windows staring blankly across the rolling fields, felt like a relic itself, whispering tales of times long past. She was no stranger to the allure of the unknown. History books had been her childhood companions, and the paranormal, with its shadowy promises, had always tugged at her curiosity. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the night she first glimpsed the Phantom Coach. It began innocently enough. One October evening, dusk painted the sky in hues of bruised purple, and a fog slithered inland from the sea, thick and suffocating. Holly, restless, decided to walk to the Coachman's Rest, a pub nestled at the edge of Yafford. The air bit at her skin as she trudged along the gravel lane, her boots crunching in rhythm with her thoughts. Inside, the pub glowed with warmth, logs crackled in the hearth, and the hum of conversation wrapped around her like a blanket. She ordered a pint and settled into a corner, content to listen to the locals' chatter. That's when she heard it. A whisper, low and conspiratorial, from a cluster of weathered men nearby. "The Phantom Coach," one said. "Seen it again last week." Another nodded, eyes darting as if the walls might overhear. "Aye, full of them poor souls who never made it, trapped they are." Holly's pulse quickened. She leaned closer, straining to catch every word. "They say it was a wedding party," the first man continued, "back in the 1800s. Bride, groom, the lot of 'em, dashed to pieces when the coach went over the cliff. Storm took 'em." His companion shivered. "You hear their screams some nights, echoing through the mist." Holly couldn't resist. She slid her chair closer, pint in hand, and cleared her throat. "Sorry to interrupt," she said, her voice steady despite the thrill racing through her, "but what's this about a phantom coach?" The men turned, sizing her up, a newcomer, an outsider. "You're the lass in the old historian's cottage, ain't you?" When asked, she nodded. "You just moved in." "Well," he said, softening, "if you're keen on ghosts, talk to Edward. Old historian in Newport. Knows every tale this island's got to tell." Another chimed in, "But watch yourself. That coach ain't just a story, it's a curse." Intrigued, Holly thanked them and finished her ale, her mind buzzing. The walk home felt different now. The fog had thickened into a wall of white, swallowing the world beyond a few feet. She pulled her scarf tighter, the chill seeping into her bones. Then she heard a faint, rhythmic clatter of horses' hooves, steady and ghostly, followed by the groan of wooden wheels. Her breath caught. She stopped, peering into the mist. It emerged slowly, a silhouette at first, then a vision so vivid it stole the air from her lungs. An ancient coach, its black frame gleaming wetly in the fog, rolled toward her, drawn by horses whose forms flickered like candle flames, spectral, translucent. The coachman perched atop was a shadow beneath a wide hat, his whip cracking silently through the air. Inside the coach, pale faces pressed against the windows, their eyes hollow, their mouths open in silent cries. One figure, a young woman in a tattered wedding gown, locked gazes with Holly. Her hands stretched outward, skeletal fingers brushing the glass, and Holly felt a jolt of anguish, raw and piercing, as if the woman's despair had burrowed into her own chest. The coach paused, hovering unnaturally still, before lurching forward and vanishing into the mist. Holly stumbled home, heart hammering, the bride's plea echoing in her skull. Sleep eluded her that night. The cottage creaked and sighed, as if sharing her unease. By morning, she knew what she had to do. Newport's library loomed like a sentinel, its shelves heavy with the weight of centuries. Holly found Edward in a dusty alcove, surrounded by books that smelled of mildew and secrets. He was elderly, with a shock of white hair and eyes that gleamed with a quiet intensity. "You're here about the Phantom Coach," he said before she could speak. She blinked, startled. "How did you saw it in your face," he replied. "Tell me what you saw." She recounted the encounter. Edward listened, nodding gravely. "It's an old tale," he began when she finished. October 15, 1856, a coach bound for Newport, carrying a bride named Eliza Fairchild, her groom, and a handful of others. The coachman, Thomas Blackwood, was a reckless sort, drunk half the time. They say a storm hit that night, fierce and sudden. The coach skidded off the road near Yafford, plunged into a ravine. No survivors. And now they're trapped, so it seems. The coach appears on foggy nights, retracing its path. Some believe the spirits can't rest until the truth comes out, not just the accident. There's something darker. He leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Rumors, whispers of sabotage. Thomas might have been paid to crash that coach, a feud perhaps, or jealousy, but proofs long buried. Last night the bride, she reached for me. I think she wants my help. Spirits don't choose lightly. You might be tied to this somehow. Your cottage, your bloodline. Ever look into your family's past? My great-grandparents lived here, she admitted, but I don't know much beyond that. Start there. And I'll dig into the records. We'll find the truth together. Days blurred into nights as Holly and Edward pored over yellowed documents, newspapers, letters. The cottage grew restless. Whispers drifted through the walls, and once Holly woke to find a cold handprint on her window. Fear gnawed at her, but so did resolve. She couldn't abandon those spirits. A breakthrough came in a letter penned by one Margaret Henshaw, dated days before the accident. Saw Thomas Blackwood today. It read, quarreling with a scarred man near the inn. Coins changed hands, and Thomas muttered, "They won't arrive." Holly's pulse surged. "But this is it," she said. "Foul play," he frowned. Scarred man, it could be anyone or no one, long dead. But Margaret might have left more. They tracked down her granddaughter, Susan. A wiry woman with sharp eyes. Susan listened to their tale and fetched a diary from a locked drawer. Grandmother was secretive, she said. Maybe this'll help. One, dated October 12, 1856, confirmed the letter. A tall man with a scarred cheek bribing Thomas. Another, bus accident, noted the stranger fleeing the island. He's our key. Who was he? Shipping manifest revealed a name, Reginald Hawthorne, departing October 16. Edward snapped his fingers. Hawthorne worked for Lord Cedric Montague, bitter rival of the Fairchilds, Eliza's family, land disputes, bad-blooded if Montague wanted that wedding stopped. Then he hired Hawthorne to bribe Thomas. And the spirits are trapped because the crime was never exposed. Expose it now, and they might rest. The anniversary's near. October 15th, the coach will appear at the crash site, midnight. Confront Thomas there. Holly prepared with a medium's charms, salt, sage, a silver cross, and Edward's counsel ringing in her ears. On the night of October 15th, she stood at the ravine's edge, fog coiling like a living thing. The air thrummed with unseen energy. Midnight tolled. Hoofs clattered. The phantom coach burst from the mist, horses snorting vapor, Thomas's silhouette grim and unyielding. The spirits wailed within, Eliza's face brightest among them. Holly stepped forward, voice trembling but firm. Thomas Blackwood, I know what you did. Reginald Hawthorne paid you, on Lord Montague's orders, to kill them all. Thomas's ghostly eyes met hers, haunted, hollow. Lies, he rasped. Well, no. Margaret saw you. The truth's out. Eliza leaned from the coach, her whisper cutting through the fog. Is it true? Yes, Holly said. You're free now. I took the gold, he confessed. Thought it'd be easy, the storm. It was more than I planned. He sank to his knees, spectral tears falling. Forgive me, Eliza touched his shoulder. Light bloomed, and the spirit's bride, groom, all shimmered and faded, released at last. The coach crumbled to ash. Thomas lingered, whispering, "Thank you," before dissolving into the dawn. Holly stood alone, the fog lifting, peace settling over Yafford. She'd faced the dead and freed them, binding herself forever to the isle's shattered heart. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.